Hello, gear lovers and enjoyers of outdoor good times. We are back with yet another gear discussion video. And in today's video, it's a little bit of a viewer or subscriber request, being that we've been doing a lot of military surplus discussions, going to military surplus stores, putting together some kit on a budget. And one of the requests that I had from the comment section is, can you do a pawn shop or like a flea market haul? See what you can find at those types of places. And I thought that was a really great idea because I actually do have quite a few items from pawn shops and recently just had a kind of a gold mine I found at a pawn shop. So I figured I'd talk about it. Now I'm running out of light here, so it is a beautiful Tuesday afternoon going in the evening. We're getting caffeinated up because Tuesday evenings can get a little crazy sometimes. I'm not going to say how, but it's a beautiful day. And so we're going to talk about some kit. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is actually not specifically something that I got at a pawn shop, but something that I recently saw at a pawn shop in town here. We have a big town. Don't really have any flea markets. The one that we did have closed down, but several pawn shops. And this here is a Ruger GP100 357 revolver. This was actually my first handgun. I bought this brand new a number of years ago, probably for around $650 in the stainless steel. You can get the blued variant for typically about $50 less. I recently saw this coming in around 450 bucks at a pawn shop. And if you know anything about pawn shops, you can usually talk them down a little bit, especially if you have cash in hand. So really a great find. If I didn't already had two of these, I probably would have picked that one up. But the Ruger GP100. Now, something that I got a number of years ago from a pawn shop in Rock Island, Illinois, which is where I used to live before I moved to Florida. And this is kind of pertinent because you might notice that I have my saw rig from Sojourn Gear. This is my main property rig that I use for walking around the property. Although we experiment a lot with the military surplus, I do have a main go-to. And so this pretty cool little shotgun is something that I picked up at Rock Island, Illinois on 11th Street a number of years ago, and this is the Mossberg 835. It is considered the turkey gun in many respects. It'll shoot 2 3/4, 3-inch, and 3.5-inch shells. You might notice here this is a 3-inch Grand Slam. Some people refer to this as a Magnum shotgun. So not typical that shotguns can chamber those long rounds. So it's a turkey gun, and it comes in this really cool woodland camo configuration. Usually I have a sling on it, but I cannibalized the sling for another application. But I'm gonna have to get another one back on here because I do use this for turkey hunting, and will be again here soon. So I got this for about 150 bucks at a pawn shop. I don't know what the Mossberg 835 is going for in today's landscape, but a really cool little pawn shop find. And I am standardized to the Mossberg kind of manual of arms, if you will, with that tang safety and the pump control. We have several Mossbergs. As a matter of fact, my main property gun, which I run with this rig, is this here retrograde, which does have a light on it, which is going to be a topic of discussion here in a minute. But cool pawn shop gun, Mossberg 835. Again, considered the turkey gun. Now, another recent kind of, like I said, gold mine that I stumbled across was a whole cache, if you will, of weapons mounted lights at a pawn shop in town. And I will show those to you now. First one, this here is the Surefire X300. Many of you are probably familiar with the Surefire brand of products, if you will. They're kind of known for their weapons mounted lights. And the Surefire X300 right here, which I have one of these on my Glock 22, see? Surefire. This one's brand new. What is it? X300 Ultra. That one's still kind of new. I bought that one brand new. But those of you that are familiar with the Surefire weapons lights, particular X300, know that these lights go for about $300 to $350. They had this marked $100, and I talked them down to $75 for Surefire X300. The same day, on the same shelf at the same pawn shop, I picked up this little mini truncated Streamlight ProTac, which is the perfect weapons mounted light for my Mark 18, which begs the question, who do you sleep next to at night? You don't have to answer, but those that might be wondering what my bedside gun is, this might be a candidate. This is a wonderful little night fighting tool, being that it is a Mark 18, which is fully, yes, I've done all the paperwork. This is a double NFA item, being that's got the 5.56 Ventum on it, and it is a short barrel rifle. But we have the infrared device on it, and this is a perfect little truncated white light to go with the system. This has the Trijicon MRO 3x magnifier, and it's got the Duck Industries 45-degree iron sights on it. So a little bit of a pricey item considering everything that's put on here, all the way down to the charging handle, which, yeah, that's a BCM. So the Surefire, excuse me, the Streamlight ProTac, compared to the normal size ProTac, which is another reason why I wanted to bring out my retrograde, you can see it's a perfect application for the Mark 18 and a great find from a pawn shop. Now, the Streamlight Mini ProTac, they had marked at, I don't remember what they had that marked at. They had it marked at like maybe 90 or something, and I talked them down another 20 bucks too. So again, a real treasure trove and weapon mounted light from that particular pawn shop. And truth be told, I was down at a shop recently and I told them about these finds, and they said they knew somebody else that recently bought a Surefire in town at a pawn shop, and that they had two, and that they actually bought the better, I guess, condition one. This one does have a little bit of a wear on it. It's seen some love. 75 bucks for a Surefire X300. I mean, hard to argue with that. So anyway, we're getting ready to go out, take the dog out for a little bit of a property patrol. So I figured I'd go ahead and share, being that the shotgun 835 there was a great find from a pawn shop. And we've been doing a lot of shotgunnery, if you will, as of late. And my property that I happen to maintain, we have a lot of deer problems. The deer attacked my puppy dog. He had to go to the hospital from a spinal injury from getting kicked by a deer mama because my dog was chasing the little baby. It's a problem that we have a lot here on just yesterday. The dog was out here chasing a baby deer. So we carry the shotgun, but of course, we're all about preservation of life here. So I did want to point out that, being that this is my main rig for property patrol, the way I have it set up, apart from medical here and a canteen and canteen cup with water, other assorted liquids here, is my first line of defense, I hope, would be this. Now, truth be told, I got charged by a deer mama, a couple of weeks ago. And I guess it was the primitive caveman in me. My first inclination was actually to pick up a branch and throw it at it like a spear. And it got spooked and ran off into the swamp. But if need be, what I do have here is some bear spray, which I haven't had an opportunity to use it yet, but I've read and heard accounts that this is also effective on deer. So this is Frontiersman Bear Attack Deterrent. So that's what we have in that pocket. And then we have the shotgun shells set up here. We have personal defense buckshot here. Then we have a couple of slugs, and then we have some birdshot for diversity. And then we have an entire other array here of high pressure buckshot, more birdshot, more slugs, and then spare magazine for my Glock 20. So anyway, that is my pawn shop haul video. Again, a little bit of a viewer / subscriber request, and I figured we'd have a little bit of fun and talk about that. Now, I particularly enjoy this little truncated ProTac on that. That's such a sweet little application, and this is really kind of hitting the sweet spot for me, and that's why it's my bedside companion. So with that, y'all have a great week. Stay safe out there. Looks like it's a little bumpy, you know, as of late, as we've talked about in the last video. So I'll just encourage you to keep your head up and try to be a good example for those around you, and be a light to others.